The best sweet potatoes in the world are grown right here in Mississippi. Full of vitamin C, dietary fiber, and potassium, the sweet potato is a nutritional powerhouse. You can eat them as a side to a juicy steak, cut up and fried, or as a dessert with your favorite meal. But really, there are hundreds of ways to prepare and eat Mississippi sweet potatoes. If it comes from this soil, it comes from a farm family of Mississippi, providing for our family and yours.
Coach, just a few days away from the season opener, where do you feel like your team is right now?
Work in progress. I'm glad that we're getting close to playing, though. We're getting tired of playing one another, and I think it's about time to get tested by other teams. And I think we've steadily improved. We got a lot of work to go, but we've been playing hard. We've practiced hard, and and we still have some guys kind of emerging out there. And so, it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting, and I do think there'll probably be some movement as the season goes on. The way it appears, how quick some of the young guys are picking things up.
What are your thoughts on Louisiana Tech?
They're a good team. I think they're good. I think they got some size up front. I think they have a lot of guys back. They're kind of a upperclassman team, and we're a lowerclassman team. So, I think they have quite a lot of experience and good speed at some positions, good size at others. So.
Austin Kendall starting for them. He was a Big 12 guy. How familiar are you with him, and what have you seen from him if you are?
I'm not curious how it'll come out,
Who are some of the players you see that are emerging for you right now?
I think Teddy Knox is. I think Rara is. I think, I think Scooby Ford has over there on defense. I don't have any specifics. Zach could help you with that, but it does seem like a number of secondary guys there, as they roll them through, they're getting steadily better. Like, in other words, last year we were scraping for safeties. We were just lining somebody up there so we could get through drills, among other things. Now it seems like we have quality people and we can play several of them.
Along those lines with the receivers you mentioned, obviously noticed you had 8 or 9 guys listed on the depth chart. How many do you like to have in that rotation that you can trust?
I'd like to have 8. Ideally have 8 that you can rely on. Sometimes, you might have a guy one size doesn't fit all kind of guy, and it's got a certain role, and then he plays part of it, and another guy plays part of it, type of deal.
On the depth chart, I noticed Jaden Wally and Austin Williams kind of listed as or. What's kind of your approach with how you plan on dividing those snaps up?
Well, I think that I think they're very close. If anything, right now, I think Austin's ahead, and so we'll just see how they define themselves in practice.
Is Will starting on Saturday?
Well, if we were to play today, he would start on Tuesday. We'll get to Saturday first.
What have you seen from Jameer Calvin in camp, and how do you feel like he's integrated himself into the new team?
He's got real good ball skills. He's got good route skills. He's a good stop and go guy. He can stop and accelerate suddenly, and has a little experience, which I think has helped elevate the others and bring them along.
What are you looking for this week when you're deciding between Chance and Will?
Well, right now Will's ahead. I think, and the biggest thing is Will's more consistent and more familiar with the personnel and in the plays. But I think Chance really does a good job and has had a great camp, and certainly is in a position to take it. But I do think Will's ahead right now.
Cameron Jones is one of your offensive linemen at the top of the depth chart. What have you liked about him and what he goes about his business?
Well, he started to emerge last year. Early last year, you couldn't even line up with him. Then he got better and better and better. And then about mid-season, he became a starter. And then he's really had a good off-season. He's kind of got some leadership qualities, which I think are pretty good. And but he keeps getting better and better. O-line's a position where if you're a really good O-line, everybody's a senior or a junior. But, I think he's ahead of schedule, which we desperately need, and has elevated others around him, too.
How do you feel about the O-line as a whole?
Improved. plenty of ways to go, but improved.
Coach, you got a lot of experience back on special teams. You just going into the season, how confident are you in those guys?
I thought we were decent on special teams last year. I thought we also got better as it went on. I feel like we're better this year than we were last year. I do think the experience has helped. But I think we have a little more depth of special teams than we did.
Speaking of that depth, you got a guy like Archer Trafford. When did he come in, and what do you expect from him?
Just keep getting better, keep playing, plug away. I mean, I don't, there's no real formula, but I think, it makes it more competitive, and it makes it more competitive as we sort things out and put pressure on people, and then they have to perform better.
What stood out to you about Martin Emerson or Forbes, and how good could those two guys be, you think?
I think they're both really good. I think, I thought Forbes got off to a good start last year. A lot of times a freshman will play scared or he's not ready to play, but that wasn't the case with Forbes. I thought he got out of the chutes pretty good. I thought Martin was one of the better corners in the conference, before last year, and then he continued to reinforce that.
The SEC's announcement the other day about the forfeit rule officially being in place, do you feel your team's in a comfortable spot with either protocols or vaccine rates to avoid that this year?
Well, I don't comment on vaccines, I don't comment on injuries, and I don't comment on COVID. That path changes all the time, so, we let doctors handle that.
What are your thoughts on just the forfeit rule if a team has to be in that situation? I mean, is it fair that they get a loss?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to look. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I do know this. Last year we played the University of Georgia with, I'd have to look up the number, something like 44 guys available, 44 scholarship guys available. So if we can do that, if we can do that, we probably won't forfeit. So.
Back to Will, you mentioned how he's, if you guys were to play today, it'd be him. Is he far enough along in kind of like the fall heading into the season as you would like him to be?
No, never is, but I do think he's getting better. I think he's improving. I think he's got some good leadership qualities that has allowed him to put himself in the position he's in,
Is there anything like specific on field that you've seen him improve at a little bit recently?
I think just the transition between his decisions and his reaction to the routes, I think it's quicker and crisper than it was last year. Part of it is I like to think our receivers are too. And then the other thing, we're protecting him a little better.
I know you always want to end camp on a positive note and kind of ramp into the season. Have you seen an elevation of emotion with the team, and are they where you want them to be as far as maybe emotion heading into the weekend?
Well, I've never had a team where I want them to be. I mean, I always think they can improve, but they're excited. Everybody's excited to play. Everybody's excited it's game week.
You've never had a team where you want them to be, I don't guess. But is there much more of a comfort factor right now heading into this season opener as opposed to a year ago when you had kind of a disjointed off season, a little more typical, lead into a season? Is there a little more comfort factor going into year two here?
We've had better, more consistent practices up to this point than we did last year.
In terms of Will's preparation, what kind of stands out to you about what he does just to get prepared between each practice?
Well, he works extremely hard. He's constantly studying. He's constantly on the film. And then the other thing, it's not just the film blurring along. I mean, he draws quite a bit out of it. He's able to pull quite a bit out of it. Some guys will watch film because they know they should or they want to, and they know you want them to, but they don't really get much out of it. And his dad's a coach, so I think that's helped him know how to watch film. So Will does get quite a lot out of it when he watches it.
I know Will and Chance are roommates and good friends off the field. I mean, how much do you kind of see them bouncing ideas off each other and helping each other out going into the season?
They do it all the time. They do it in the meeting room. You'll hear them doing it walking on and off the field because Chance is a good student of the game too, is always watching. But they're both kind of that way, constantly talking football.
Just for you, for game week, what does each day look like? What do you try to accomplish each day?
We just try to have consistent practices and finish them, because The biggest thing is the routine, the whole process, and get as much out of it as you can. And you got to be engaged and focused to do it. And then a lot of that starts with eliminating distractions. I thought we did a good job today.
There's a long snapper battle on the depth chart right now between Colby Cox and Hayes Hammond. I mean, what do you look for in a long snapper? Do you kind of pay attention to that position too much?
A little bit. I mean, because they're kind of unique guys, and they're both sort of feisty guys, and then snap it well. And then also, I've been somewhat impressed with how they block and that sort of thing. So.
Coach B, the first time in your tenure, you had a chance to have a near-capacity crowd here with all the cowbells clanging. How eager are you and the team to have something that feels a little more like regular college football this year?
Well, we're all looking forward to that. We're all looking forward to that, and hopefully it's it's a good, fulfilling year. And hopefully not too many external distractions.
What's the emotion of the team heading in?
Today was a lot of energy. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody, literally, from scout team to starters and things like that. Everybody's ready to get after it.
Aaron, how are you and your family doing with the hurricane back there?
Most of my family went to Shreveport. My grandmother, she's military, so she only went to Hattiesburg. I don't know what that much of a difference that made, but she's okay too. So everybody's doing well.
You guys have a lot of familiar names, including yourself, back on defense. You played a lot of football, but just a few names off the top of your head. Which guys you think have made a step up that you're going to rely on this year that don't have a lot of reps in the past?
Nathaniel Watson, Jaden Crumedy, all those guys have produced, which we know they can. And this is just now more of a role for those guys to show what they can do. And guys like Bam, he's also stepping up for JD, obviously, and I think he'll do a real good job.
You mentioned Jed Johnson early in camp as a guy that really improved this year. He's playing behind you as your number 2. What have you seen from him in the final stages of camp?
He's ready to go. He could play Mike, Sam, Will. Whenever he's ready to go, he'll play a lot this game.
What do you think the biggest challenges that Louisiana Tech presents this week?
They spread the defense out, kind of like our offense, but obviously not as spacious as our offense. They do a lot of Y-off type stuff, but they space the field out and get us running side to side.
You clearly get a good look at the offense every day. What's different about them going against them in practice this year compared to last year?
Everybody's moving much more faster. It seems like they have much more confidence in themselves, knowing that they can do it.
Kind of along those lines, can you even put into words just how different the feel may be right now heading into this season opener as compared to a year ago with a new scheme on both sides of the ball and kind of a weird off-season last year? Can you even put into words how different it is now?
Not really. There's really no doubt. I think everybody's ready to go. Everybody knows that we can win football games. I think we're just really ready to show everybody what we have done, improved from last year.
Louisiana Tech starting Austin Kendall at quarterback. How familiar are you with him? Did you watch any film of him yet? And what are your thoughts, if so?
Yeah, our coaches had us do a game plan, and he transferred from West Virginia, didn't he? And he's a good quarterback. They also got some other guys. Number 3, Aaron something, I forgot his name. He was a starter leading onto the season last year. And number 9, he's pretty good. He actually had the most yards passing last year. But the guy from West Virginia, he's real good. I think he can present a good challenge for us.
What issues do you see him kind of presenting for you guys, like specifically defensively, that could make your day a little tough?
Nothing necessarily. Like I said, they spread the football out to everybody around him, and I think he does a good job in RPO and things like that. So that could probably present the most challenges as far as offensively for those guys.
Obviously, winning a Division I football game is difficult no matter who you play, but last year you had 10 SEC games. This year you've got a little bit of ramp up, I guess, in non-conference. How important do you think that is, especially to get some experience for the guys down the depth chart a little bit?
For guys that have never played a non-conference game, they probably may take things lightly. So I think it's really the biggest thing is getting everybody on the same page, knowing that anybody can be beat at any time, and that's the main thing.
What was the feeling like last year going into opener where you're unsure of, what it would be like in a half-empty stadium, if not less than that? And how much different is it this year knowing that you're going to have close to a full-capacity crowd?
Last year it seemed, most places that we went, it seemed like they had a pretty full crowd. I can remember that, Ole Miss and Georgia, I feel like they had a full stadium, if y'all could remember that. I think just really getting back to full crowds this year is going to be something that, people really have been waiting for, and we all have been waiting for, and I think it'll be a really good thing for everybody.
Different part of the state, but La Tech, do you know a lot of the guys on their team? Are you friends with any of them?
I know some guys that graduated. I played some 7-on-7 with a few of their receivers and stuff like that. And, I don't know them personally, but I've seen them.
Woody, obviously 60 receptions last year. Running back's a big part of this scheme. How do you look to build on that this year, and how do you feel like maybe you could be a better player?
I can be a better player by just doing the right thing, catching the ball, getting upfield, getting myself open if it's man, sending the right places, and getting straight upfield.
Your coach said Contravian Hargrove's now called Little Woody. What went into that besides the 21?
Just like, that's my little brother. Like, I took both of them up under my wings. Like, we hang out a lot, and like, them two boys, I really like them too, and I think they'll be special.
How much big of a role do you see Bull playing this year?
Both of them should play a big role. No matter what, they should play a big role, and probably special teams, offense, anything.
I noticed you're listed on depth chart as a kickoff returner. Just talk about adding that role.
Whenever I get in, me and Tulu, I'm gonna do whatever.
With Hargrove, what stands out to you about not just on the ground but through the air? What he's able to do, kind of for the passing game?
Oh, he can catch. He can run too. Man coverage, you ain't checking him. He's a good player.
Talk about taking them under your wing. I mean, you're still a young player yourself. Why was that so important to you this offseason to kind of help the freshmen coming in?
So me and Dylan, we really like the older in the group. So like we got to bring them in. How Colin them brought us in to welcome them to the program, and like make sure they have brotherhood in our own position group.
Which ways in what areas have you seen Will Rogers grow as a quarterback this offseason?
Just overall, like everything he's grown from the weight room, being a leader, and on the field, just making the right reads and stuff. He's grown a lot.
You mentioned Kylan a minute ago. What does it mean to you to see him make the roster for Green Bay?
Good. Me and Colin, I talk to Colin like every day. We talk a lot. He give me tips on stuff like he see me doing. I send him some clips. I be like, what you think about this? He'll be like, make this, you should have made this cut or that and that. So we got a pretty tight relationship still.
When did you find out that he made the roster?
I was looking at it earlier, like I think it was like 1 o'clock, and I had saw it. A lot of NFL teams came out with a 53-man roster.
Yeah, your hometown team unfortunately cut 2 Mississippi State players. Was that tough to see that for the Falcons?
Yeah, pretty tough to see that, yeah.
How closely did you watch Kylan in the preseason?
I watched him every game. Every game I watched him.
Would you text him after the games and stuff like that?
I text him, I repost him on Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
How excited were you when you saw that he actually made it? Because a lot of 7th-round picks don't make the rosters.
Very excited. I knew he was going to make it. He was a fantastic player, fantastic running back and everything. So
When you guys talk, I mean, how much does he kind of give you advice of what he's been learning the past couple months?
Really, like I probably asked him how the speed of the game changed. He was like, it changes a lot. It's just a lot of mental stuff, mental focus. You got to be focused, and you got to be ready to come with it every time you get on the field.
Is there a pro team you'd like to play for? Is it the Falcons or somebody else?
Yeah, my home team.
How ready are you to hear a normal crowd on Saturday?
That's all I've been thinking about. Like since they said it'd be fully everybody would be in there. That's all I've been thinking about. Like when I came on a visit, I heard it. Man, I'm just ready to walk out on the field and hear it.
Last year you guys didn't have a lot of depth at running back, and obviously you and DJ had to play as freshmen. How beneficial is it this year to have a few more backs in the room, or maybe you can save a little wear and tear on yourself for the long term?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really very helpful. Like it helps on our bodies, me and DJ body, and then you have them guys coming in, getting early snaps and stuff. It'd be good for them too. So I think our group would do pretty good.
There's a lot of running backs that wouldn't want to split the reps with another guy, you know, as much as you and Dylan do. I mean, how much do you guys communicate about that, talk about that, and why are you guys both so okay with doing that?
We okay doing it because, like, we brothers. We came up, we was getting recruited, we was talking, so we already knew what the deal would be, both of us be in the backfield together. So it's just, he get his shine, I get my shine. We both just celebrating for each other.
When you have those conversations with the two young guys, I mean, what exactly are you guys discussing in those? Are you going playbook, or are you talking about just mentality on the field, or what are you guys discussing in those conversations?
We talk about the playbook, like what they ask, like what a pass protection is. I'll tell them this and that, and then they'll go out and do it right. Sometimes in film, they'll ask me like, what is like a saw blitz? So I tell them that. Then they really get stuff like down pat when you first tell them. So that's pretty good right there.
Is it almost like kind of gives you some pride that now you're the kind of guy teaching them when last year you were the freshman? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty big deal for me. Like I gotta know my stuff because like they look up to me and Dylan, so we gotta know our stuff because we can't be trying to teach them something and we don't know it.
Obviously, a new level of intensity in practice. What have you seen from your team?
That was awesome. We try to treat like last week's our mock week. We try to treat it the same, because you don't want to be up and down waving. Just come here, ready to work every single day, make the most of it.
What have you seen from Will? Because Mike said earlier that if the game was today, that Will would be starting. What have you seen from him in fall camp that suggests that he's earned that spot? You think?
I mean, like he said, Coach Leach, he hasn't named one yet, but definitely from Will. I mean, he's cool, calm, his composure. He's acting like a vet, He's for being a second-year guy, he's acting like a vet. He just got that kind of air about him. He's running the team.
Where's he grown most from year 1 to year 2, Will?
Just like I said, I think it's just kind of that he grows up and just being a better leader on the field, taking control of the offense, just stepping up and just kind of being that guy.
What do you notice from him off the field in just terms of his preparation for each practice, each game kind of thing?
He's a huge film watcher. In the off season, you always see him up here. He's in there. He's going over. He's trying to learn. He's trying to get better.
Was he lying about him being the best ping pong player in the house?
Absolutely, yeah. We keep a stat sheet and the truth.
You've experienced a lot of loud atmospheres at Davis Wade. How eager are you to get back to that side?
I can't wait. I mean, like I said, I think our fans are the best in the country. I can't wait to go get there, hear the cowbells ringing. It's going to be awesome.
How is Coach Leach different maybe during game week than he is in fall camp?
I mean, I think he tries to be the same each and every week. Like we said, you don't want to be up and down. You want to try to get your best every single day. There is an edge with game week, sure, but we just try to handle our business day by day. Get ready for Saturday.
Austin, you and Jaden Wally are listed as co-starters at the same position. Is it kind of intriguing to be competing with a guy who led the team in receiving yards last year?
Yeah, Austin. Wally's a great player. I mean, he's great with the ball in his hands. He's explosive. He's twitchy. It's good to have that. You want competition. It's going to bring the best out of both guys. And especially it's a healthy competition, We're doing everything we can to make the team better and try to make ourselves better.
How does Makai Polk make you guys a better offense?
I mean, he's very savvy. He's twitchy. He's good at the ball. He's acts like he's got a ton of experience. Just how he plays the game. He feels it really well. He's definitely going to help us out.
What are you going to have to do to?
Jameer Calvin, what has he added to that slot position?
He's like you said, he's a really fast guy. He's twitchy. He understands offense. I mean, he's got the most reps in this offense out of everybody. And that's huge. Just kind of have some comments, some help, just kind of advice. Just doing it so much, he really brings out a lot.
Based on what Theo asked there with you and Jaden, kind of the or thing at the Y, what do you think you're going to have to do to kind of maybe create some separation at that spot, and how do you want to see improvement in your game?
I'm just going to try to handle myself every single day, just improve, work on my little things, just try for this week, just understand Louisiana Tech, watch the film, give my all at practice, and just kind of go from there and see what happens.
Obviously, you don't prepare for injuries or hope for injuries, but if the situation came up, maybe an opening at one of the other wide receiver slots, do you feel like you could move around, be comfortable in a different spot as well?
I mean, I play inside, both sides, so yeah, sure.
What have you seen from Louisiana Tech's defense on film?
Say what?
What have you seen from Louisiana Tech's defense on film?
They're good. They're sound. They run a lot of 3 and 4. I'm sure we'll see a bunch of drop 8. But they're a sound defense. They're coached well. They play hard. It's a big game.
Speaking of the drop 8, I know it's kind of a new experience for a lot of receivers because in high school you don't see a lot of that stuff. How much different is it this year, having seen it last year on film and kind of seeing how you should attack it this year?
Oh, it's good. I mean, just a reps-based offense. Everybody kind of understands the spacing, where they need to be, when they need to be there. I think we saw that come to fruition a lot in camp, and just guys get a lot more comfortable. I think it's definitely going to be a little bit different this year.
In 2017, you were redshirting, but walk me through your memories of that 3rd and 93 play against Louisiana Tech. Do you remember that at all, and what was that like?
3rd and what play?
3rd and 93, the fumble that went all the way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was wild, obviously. I mean, it went viral, Twitter, all that, ESPN. I mean, it didn't seem real almost. Just kept on going, but yeah, that was something. That was something for the books.
Had you ever seen anything like that?
No, I've not. I've not seen 3rd and 93.
So working against the scout team this week, obviously they're running some of those same concepts. I mean, what does it mean to get a good scout? I mean, a lot of these guys you guys were competing against all camp, and now they're your scout team. So how important is it for those guys to give you a really strong look?
Oh, it's super important. I mean, Coach Leach makes it like one of the most literally important things of the week. I mean, you're only as good as your scout look. And they got to do everything they can to give us the best look, prepare us. And like you said, they're competing against Louisiana Tech scouts and every other team every week. I mean, a lot of the guys who are who are going to play on Saturday, they were scouts. It's just kind of that progress, that progression. You know, you got to move up, you got to do your time, but you got to do your best and help the team prepare.
You talked about this being a reps-based offense, and I'm sure defensively with a second year under Zach Arnett, it helps to have a second year there too. But can you put into words just maybe the difference in mentality going into this year's season opener with the comfort that you guys probably have as compared to maybe a year ago when it was a new staff and things?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of reps under our belt, a lot more experience. I think a lot of the guys, we have, mostly the same guys are still here. We're just confident, we're ready to go, we're prepared. Everybody feels good, we're ready to roll.
Best evaluators of DBs are wide receivers, and so obviously last year with some depth concerns at safety. How comfortable were you with that group now? I mean, competing against these guys day in, day out, how do you feel like that group's improved?
Good. Like I said, I think they got a lot more depth. They're playing well, they play hard. And Coach Washington does a really good job with them, just getting them rolling. They're fly to the ball, block it up drills and everything they get after. They just feel good. They definitely got us better.